What's up, YouTube? Yu-Gi-Oh! Tube here with a special, kinda current, kinda vintage values episode of Market Watch. And right now we're going to look at Linkuriboh. So I'm not one to look at some newer cards. I don't play the meta game. I don't play the current game. However, I heard the hype on this card. I decided, well, I'm not going to buy into it. I'm not going to buy a Shonen Jump magazine because I figured everybody else will do it and it will flood the market. Yes. The biggest asset of Linkuriboh was the fact that it was playable in many current Yu-Gi-Oh! Decks and very useful in a variety of decks. It also intrigued me that after seeing this card, Apprenticed Illusion Magician, that hey, Linkuriboh could be worth buying a Shonen Jump magazine. You get a promo for $5 off. You're paying about $20 a pop for the year. You get 3 other cards during the year as well. So I figured it's not a bad buy, but you know what? I don't want to sink my money into something that potentially could be just kind of flooded on the market. So anyways, let's see what we got here. Linkuriboh. I'm wrong. This card is selling. Yes, it's only selling $27, but when you figure you paid $25 for this and 3 other cards, not a bad deal. However, as it stands currently, I'm happy I didn't buy into the magazine because I'm not making money. After fees, after shipping, I'm losing money on Linkuriboh, and that means I need to sell the 3 other cards during the year to make my money back. Here's the thing with this card. If you go to sold listings, $29, $28. Not that much because you paid $25 for the subscription. However, it is selling at a very fast, quick rate. I'm looking here, you know, December 14th, 2050, 2021, 1845. You know, you're looking at almost every hour you have sales. 140, what was it? 141 sales so far, just came out, 76 current listings. Yes, they're being listed quickly. However, it is important to note here, let's go to best match, 976 have sold from this one seller, 69 watchers. I mean, how much does he have? Let's just type in 55. Alright, so I don't know how much he has here. I don't know. He could have 1,000. He could have more than 1,000. So he obviously invested quite heavily into this card. And I guess he figures, you know, he's going to break even. He's going to have the 3 other cards in the yearly subscription to recoup his cash. So he doesn't need the actual cash flow. Here's my opinion on this card. Again, I'm no expert in the current game, so keep that in mind when looking at this card. But my opinion is this. Look at Apprentice Illusion Magician. This card at one point was a $120 card, $110 card on eBay. When it came out, it was pre-selling at about $60, $70. A lot of people said, you know, I'm going to take my money, and good for them. They got their money worth. But what happened was it flooded the market. It went down a little bit. It dipped a little bit, and then it went right back up because it was a staple in a deck. Keep in mind as well that from what I hear, again, from what I read, from what I hear, Linkuriboh is more versatile in a variety of decks, meaning it will have a higher demand for this card. Yes, the supply might be more because people are speculating and did speculate, like I was, that this would be the next Apprentice Illusion Magician in terms of price. It might not be that. It won't ever be that, most likely, but this card has potential to rise at least in the next coming months. You actually might be able to pick it up here for $27.99, and it might be worth $40, $50, $60 in the next month and a half, 2 months from now. So I don't know. If you need this card, if you play the game, I would buy it now while it's at $27.99. I don't see it going much lower than this, especially because, in essence, it is flooded on the market. Apprentice Illusion Magician, basically the history of that, it started high, went down, went way back up again. I see Linkuriboh kind of at its lowest point right now. I could see it hitting 24, 25 at the lowest, but I think right now if you can get in for 27, 28, take it and run if you need this card, because I think ultimately it will continue to go back because the demand is so huge, because as I talked about, it is a staple in many current decks right now. The only reason I was interested in it, is because it had the name Kuriboh, and it was a blue Link monster. I was like, that's pretty cool, right? But then I figured, well, Apprentice Illusion Magician, that card exploded on the market. Why can't Linkuriboh do the same? because it is a versatile card. It is a much needed card. It is probably needed in more decks than Apprentice Illusion Magician. So, but then I thought to myself, well, everyone saw the success of Apprentice Illusion Magician, and then, you know what they're going to do? They're going to buy, like this guy, 1,000 copies of Linkuriboh. And what happened was, yes, it is flooded on the market, but that flood has to eventually subside because the demand is so huge, in my opinion, for this card. Again, it might hit 22, 23, 24. I don't see it going under 20. I could see it hitting 40, 50, 60. So I think the potential risk to return for this card is huge. I would buy it now while you can. Again, the only other concern is a reprint. If there's a reprint, you are dead. If there's a reprint, you are absolutely slaughtered on this card. A reprint takes this card to $5 or less. I don't see Konami reprinting it right after this comes out. Yes, it will be reprinted. Yes, this card will be reprinted quickly. So if you plan to use it, be prepared for the reprint. If you plan to buy it at 27 and 28 and expect to flip it, risky proposition. It could pay off for you. I'm not going to be the one to take the risk. But if I were you, there's a lot worse investments out there. This is a decent speculative buy, but I'm just not a speculation kind of guy. I don't like the volatility as much. But again, if you're feeling risky, I like the potential risk to return on this card. If it hits 50, you know what, 45, if you could buy it here at 28 and you can get 45, you're going to make about 10 bucks, 12, 13 bucks a card after fees, after shipping. I say go for it, especially if you buy 10, 20, 30 copies. You're talking about, you know, a nice chunk of change, 200-300 bucks in profits. Not bad deal. But we do have to do some vintage cards, and my biggest reason for this video, alongside because the name was Kuriboh and it was a Linkuriboh, and it was pretty cool, kind of vintage, you could say, nostalgic nonetheless. We're going to take a look at Thousand Eyes Restrict. This card has taken an explosion in price in the last week because of Linkuriboh. Now, Linkuriboh supposedly opens up a method to basically instant fusion a Thousand Eyes Restrict onto the field. And what happened as a result? The Retro Pack 2 Thousand Eyes Restricts are money right now. Let's take a look at prices. $9.99 on November 24th. Near mint, $10. In September, what are we hitting all of a sudden? December 8th, $15 near mint. December 13th, $35 for mint. We're seeing a double. We're seeing over double the value in a matter of a week. And now let's take a look at this. Near mint, let's see what it sold for. I mean, this is ridiculous. I'll put the item number in. When I saw this, I said, you know, I have to make a video. I really, really do. Watchcount.com. Let's see what it sold for. 50 bucks. $50. That is absolutely absurd. This card is up almost 300, 400, 500% in a matter of 2 weeks. That's what you call a huge jump. That screams to me, well, Linkuriboh isn't just one of those novelty cards. Linkuriboh is a card that's going to be a staple. It's going to change the game potentially in a lot of different decks. That means Linkuriboh is not just a mirage. It's not just an illusion. If it had an effect on Thousand Eyes Restrict this much, I think that Linkuriboh all of a sudden now could be a decent risk to return. Speculative buy in the short term. Again, if you're going to hold this for a year, you're going to be dead. You're going to lose all your money. If you think it's going to be worth anything in 6 months to a year, forget about it. Yu-Gi-Oh! Konami, they're going to reprint it like they always do. We saw what happened to Apprentice Illusion Magician. The card was 100 plus, reprinted. Now it's down to about 30 a pop. So yes, you will lose your money. You will basically burn your money if you're buying Linkuriboh to collect. Save your money. Buy it in 6 months to a year. If you're buying to speculate, you might have something there, especially if you go to the locals a lot where you know people are going to want this stuff. There's some easy sale potential there. But again, Thousand Eyes Restrict, huge, huge, huge jump. That's what I wanted to cover here as well. Retro Pack 2 up to 50 bucks for a near mint copy. Let's see the active listings. I mean, this is unbelievable. $76.99 for a new condition. Again, it's a stock photo, which I don't even trust. Doesn't say much about the condition here. Light play, we're looking at 40. Let's see, a French near mint light play, 2 Watchers for French. And here's a mint to near mint, and 2 available. Okay, so yes, the 50 may have been a bit of an outlier here, but we're talking at least $30 to $50 in a matter of 2 weeks. You know, that's a 200 to 300% profit margin increase. You can't go wrong here. If you have Thousand Eyes Restricts, it might be time to sell. I have a few. I might sell 1 or 2, keep 1 or 2 in case this card really explodes. But that's the matter of the fact is, very ironic here how the vintage Yu-Gi-Oh card in terms of Kuriboh, yes, it's a little newer, it's a little cooler, it's got the blue background to it, and all those meta players are like cringing on their seats right now saying this guy knows absolutely nothing about the game. And to be honest with you, I don't know much about the game at all currently, but I do know this card was hyped. I do know this card is flooded on the market currently, but I also do know this card has a ton of demand, and it has affected outside prices in the form of Thousand Eyes Restrict. I could see this jumping a bit back up for speculative buyers, for risk takers, not for me, but one to keep an eye on. Yu-Gi-Oh! Tube, with my thoughts, signing out. What do you think about this card? What do you think about Thousand Eyes Restrict? Good to see? Not good to see? Is this card going to rise? Is this card going to fall? What's your thoughts in the next couple months for this short-term little furball that seems to be encased by something? I don't know. Kuriboh has changed. I don't know if I like it, but that's the future. Yu-Gi-Oh! Tube, signing out.